Very interesting topic for hip hop fans and hip hop fans alike. Now, there has been a lot of coverage or a lot of discussions about a certain hip hop topic. So, what is the best region of hip hop in the United States? So, let me break it down for you. So, you have the West, you have the Midwest, you have the South, and you have the East. So, in hip hop terms, you have the East Coast, the West Coast, Dirty South, Midwest. So, which region has the best region for hip hop, or has been the most influential, to break it down even further? So, because best, it could be so many things, right? But influential, which region has created the most artists? Which region has put out the best, has put out the most quality music? And you can quantify that either in sales, or I don't even want to do sales. You can quantify that in just a matter of fact of impact on the culture. And what contributions has that region contributed to hip hop? And I'll kind of break it down. When I say contributions, I'll break it down into regions and then break it down to the simplest of terms, and then come to my conclusion at the end of which region I think had the best music has the most influence in hip hop. I've lived in two regions myself, Midwest and the South. And I lived in the South more than I lived in the Midwest. So I spent the majority of my life in the South. But all of this is trying to be objective as possible and break it down to why I picked the region that I'm going to pick. So first region you have is the West region. And the capital of that West region for hip hop is LA. Everything comes through LA. Everyone comes to LA to perform. A lot of artists came out of the LA area. So I consider LA the capital of the West region. And notable cities that you have Los Angeles, you have Oakland, you have Compton, you have Long Beach, right? And notable artists, you have Snoop, Tupac, Eazy-E, E40, Kendrick Lamar, Tyler the Creator, and people like that. So, and the relevance that the West has to hip hop is the East Coast, West Coast beef, that the hyphy movement, and then of course they contributed gangster rap. Notable movements, like I said, was hyphy, and then they had gangster rap. And then notable songs that they've contributed to the culture is Nothing But a G Thing. It was a Good Day by Ice Cube, Not Like Us by Kendrick Lamar recently, Straight Outta Compton from NWA, California Love from Tupac and Dr. Dre as well. So that's the West region. The Midwest region, you have notable cities of Chicago, Detroit, St. Louis, Cleveland, Columbus area, and Ohio. Notable artists: Kanye, Common, Lupe, Nelly, Chingy, Bow Wow, Bone Thugs and Harmony, Chief Keef, Eminem, Big Sean, Durk. And the relevance to hip hop is Nelly, the St. Lunatics movement back they had in the early 2000s, late 99. They put St. Louis on the map and the Midwest on the map. Everyone was going crazy for their songs. They created trends like the Air Force One trends. Everyone wearing these grills, gold, platinum and gold grills. They created that trend for hip hop, because hip hop is more than just rapping. Of course, it's MCing, DJing, break dancing, graffiti, and the fashion as well. And also they had conscious rap. So, you have your Commons, you have your Lupes, you have even Kanye to a certain extent. Even Do or Die or Twister kind of was similar to conscious rap. But they had that movement. And then also notable movement that they had was the drill movement. They had drill music as well. Notable songs is, of course, Lose Yourself from Eminem, Kick Push Lupe Fiasco, Country Grammar from Nelly, Thuggish Ruggish Bone from Bone Thugs and Harmony, Don't Like by Chief Keef, I Used to Love Her by Common, and Good Life from Kanye West. And then the capital of that Midwest region is Chicago. Everything goes to Chicago. They have the most artists there. They have the most power. Everyone comes to Chicago when they perform or to do anything in hip hop. So I consider Chicago the capital of that region. And then next you have the Dirty, Dirty South. Notable cities are Atlanta, Memphis, Miami, Houston, and New Orleans. And notable artists, you have Outkast, Future, T.I., Jeezy, Gucci Mane, 3 6 Mafia, Yo Gotti, Dolph, Rick Ross, Uncle Luke, and 2 Live Crew, Trick Daddy, and UGK, Scarface, Cash Money, No Limit, Travis Scott, and T-Pain, just to note some of them. Relevance to hip hop, the Atlanta resurgence over the last decade has been impressive. It's been the most active city in hip hop recently. Most people consider Atlanta the Black Hollywood, just from Tyler Perry Studios being there, and a lot of films and a lot of growth that area has had. They have so many people move every month to the Georgia region. The weather's always decent. It's on the Eastern time zone, even though it's in the South. It has a lot of opportunity there for growth, and a lot of people has loved it for that reason. But nevertheless, in the music, hip hop culture specifically, they've produced some of the best artists over the last decades, and they keep producing and producing. South, Chop and Screw from Texas mostly, they contributed that to hip hop. The No Limit era, the Bout It movement, Make Them Say all that was a thing back in the late 90s and mid 90s, and even in the early 2000s. No Limit had the game on lock. Same thing as Cash Money. They had their movement with the Bling Bling and Back That Thing Up and all that stuff. So they had that movement. Don't forget the auto-tune from T-Pain that the South has contributed. And also Uncle Luke contributions to hip-hop. He was actually responsible for the parental advisory sticker being implemented into music, not just hip-hop, but music in general. He created that, or was the catalyst for that being created, because we all know 2 Live Crew put out these sexually explicit albums, and they were one of the first to actually be a catalyst for the parental advisory sticker, if you didn't know that. And notable movements that they had was in Memphis, they have what they call juking, which is like a form of dance that they have in Memphis and in the South. Crunk music, which Atlanta contributed in the snap music, trap music as well. And then, like I said, the Chop and Screw music. And just a couple of notable songs from the South as producers was So Fresh and So Clean from Outkast, Hard Out Here for a Pimp from 3 6 Mafia, Like a Pimp from Little Flip and David Banner. The South is heavy on pimping. You Don't Know Nam from Trick Daddy, Hustling from Rick Ross, Pocket Full of Stones with UGK, Buy You a Drink from T-Pain as well. So, and then Air Forces from Jeezy, I think was a big one as well. He had a lot of other songs that you could pick too, and then of course the capital of the South is Atlanta. So everything goes through Atlanta. Everyone goes to Atlanta for interviews, concerts. Everything is the mecca of the South for hip hop. And then lastly, we have the region of the East region. Notable cities: New York, Philly, DC, Virginia Beach. Notable artists: you have Jay-Z, Nas, Wu-Tang, Dipset, D-Block, Nicki Minaj, Lil Kim, Tribe Called Quest. And their relevance to hip hop is major because New York is considered the mecca of hip hop. It's where it started, from DJ Kool Herc at a party, and hip hop was invented through that party, they say. So New York has the mecca of hip hop. It's where it all started, where it originated, where everything formed. And hip hop is the first music created by free blacks. So that's another fun fact that I've learned over the years. Also, the East has contributed East Coast, West Coast beef, of course, and then recently New York drill music. And also they had conscious rap and boom bap, and then rap rock, which is more of the Run DMC type rap, Beastie Boys, things like that. And notable songs they had was Empire State of Mind, It Ain't Hard to Tell, Grindin', Juicy, Dreams and Nightmares from Meek Mill, I Wanna Rock from Cream from Wu-Tang, No Hands from Wale, Dipset Anthem from Dipsets, of course, and It Takes Two. And of course, the capital is New York because it's the mecca of all hip hop. It's the capital of all hip hop because that's where it originated. So, analyzing each region and breaking everything down, initially I wanted to say the East was the best because, like I said, it's where it originated. It's a lot of influence in that region. I counted out the West just because it's one state mostly. It's only California basically in the West of hip hop. So I can't put one state against regions that have multiple states. And I didn't pick the Midwest simply for the fact of there wasn't a lot of artists that contributed heavily to hip hop. You know, you have your Eminems, you have your Kanye Wests, and you have your Commons and Lupes and things like that, and Bone Thug, and Nelly and Saint Lunatics and things like that. But their influence is not compared to the East or to the South. So when I broke down the East versus the South, I gave the South the nod for the simple fact of that the East is mostly a couple of states, and it's really only one state, really. DC, you had a few people. Virginia Beach, you had a few people. But the South has so much influence as far as cultures. So let me break it down. So the South has contributed multiple states with an influence in hip hop, heavy influence. So you have Texas, you have Georgia, you have Florida, you have Tennessee. You can kind of, well, and then you have Mississippi a little bit as well. So I gave the South the nod for that simple fact, and they had a lot of influence in those regions compared to other states that only had, other regions only had one state. Their state's influence was very heavy, and I think that's why I gave the South the nod. So other than that, the East was second to me, and then I put the West as third, and then Midwest fourth. But let me know what your thoughts as far as hip hop, the best hip hop region goes. And I posted a survey as well. So make your votes on that. So